So I'm going to go ahead and take the money and run, Teach.
This is a game!
Hey guys, it's the Rookie Revolution here, back with another video. Have you ever watched game show competitions and you see painfully obvious ways you would do something others are just not doing? The challenges are some of the most hardcore competitions on TV, and I'm sure just like all of you, I would love to try my own strategies in these competitions. I'm going to break down 5 times challengers found loopholes for challenges on the challenge. Whether that includes doing something outlandish or just thinking outside of the box, we are going to be looking through these loopholes. And no, that does not include Julie's loophole of trying to kill her opponent in Veronica.
What's the safety ledge? Julie!
What is she doing?
Or Wes being cocky and putting his female partner on his back during a Tarzan swing challenge.
Get up!
People think that this kid is smart.
Before I start, I just want to give a huge shout out to Prettium because he did this first in how Big Brother and Survivor players hacked their show's competitions. I'm just going to put a little honorable mention here. Basically what the pet rock was carrying a rock in a sack going up a mountain. In the Rivals 1 final had a loophole of breaking the rock and putting it in your shoe. The problem was this cut up your legs really bad and just made everything more painful. And also this was just a little component in a big, long, grueling final. At number 5, we have the Chain Gang Challenge on the Ruins. In this daily challenge, each team is connected to a 30-foot rope that is hanging from a platform suspended high above water. The bottom person has to unclip himself or herself and climb to the top. Once that person climbs up and rings a gong, the next person at the bottom can unhook themselves and climb up. Wes was on the outside of his champions team and made it known he was going to throw challenges to help the other team in spite of his enemies. The loophole in this challenge was discovered by Johnny Bananas, in that if they put Wes in the bottom of the rope, they could also put their weakest girl with him, so if she unhooks, Wes would be below her and automatically be disqualified, giving them the challenge without Wes sabotaging them. When they started the challenge, Wes did not think of this possibility and still tried to swing and fly all over his rope to get his other teammates to fall. But Bananas' plan worked almost instantly, and there was nothing else Wes could do. The champions team ended up winning that challenge, and Wes went to elimination.
I'm gonna throw the challenge so bad that I will tackle my own teammates.
We put him at the very bottom. We put one person above him. Person above him jumps off, someone directly above him, and that player unhooks their carabiner and falls into the water before he's able to. We neutralize Wes.
It's gonna be really easy to throw this. All I gotta do is just shake the rope and push them off. They thought, oh, there'll be a way that we can get around it. Well, I'm about to prove them wrong. The beast unhooks before I do, which DQs her and myself. There's not a whole lot I can do at this point.
At number 4, we have the Fallout Challenge from Invasion of the Champions. How this challenge works was pretty much a slippery platform was suspended high above the water. There are 2 ropes on the platform and you must hang on it, but the platform pivots like a seesaw but worse, in which most people will slide and fall. So it's basically just don't fall off the platform. Well, this loophole was discovered by Camilla in that the last 2 remaining were her and Cara Maria, and let's be real, her upper body strength can't match up with Cara's, so she had to think outside the box, and she came up with taking one of the ropes and wrapping herself up, which is actually just really dangerous, and some think this is unfair, and I can see how people would think that, but Camilla ended up winning this challenge because of her outside of the box thinking.
I look over to my left and it's just me and Camilla. I can outlast this broad.
Most people will look at this and just think it's all about the arm strength, but you do have a rope to work with.
Don't wrap it around your neck!
Like tied into it.
Grab onto anything that's on that platform, and that's what I did. Well, you would have thought to do the same strategy, and you just didn't. So
at number 3, we have a challenge from Battle of the Seasons 2 called Oil Change. In this challenge, individuals from 2 opposing teams would wrestle each other out of a big oil pit. Every player on their team that wins a match gets a puzzle piece for their team. Each team needs 4 puzzle pieces to be completed. There was a huge majority alliance this season, consisting of Vegas, Cancun, New Orleans, and San Diego. And they figured out a loophole in that the best way to make sure all of their teams were safe was that they would call out each other in every match and throw each round to a different member of each team so they could all collect puzzle pieces while the teams not in their alliance would never even be called down to compete. So it just made all of their alliance have guaranteed safety. It was a little confusing, but it worked perfectly, so this was a brilliant loophole, although it made the challenge very boring to watch.
And we're realizing people on our own side are beating up each other. Best thing for everybody is to throw matches to make sure our side doesn't get hurt.
Make sure that one of our teams wins before these other idiots.
We have the power to decide who wins this game. We can make the decision of what teams are in the top 4 and what teams aren't.
At number 2, we have an elimination. This time, it's from Invasion of the Champions, and it is not so fast in CT versus Darrell. In this challenge staple elimination, the rules are, you start on your opponent's dome with 200 feet of huge, heavy-duty rope, and you make the rope as tangled and as hard to unravel for your opponent as possible, and after 10 minutes, you switch and have to untangle the mess your opponent made, which is just brutal. But this time they played it, CT literally broke the elimination in figuring out one of the most genius loopholes I have ever seen. And what he did was make it impossible for Darrell to untangle his rope in that CT focused on one corner of the dome and kept tangling that corner with no slack and kept tightening it, so it was almost virtually impossible for Darrell to undo. This was honestly such an impressive loophole, and apparently production needed a chainsaw to take the rope off. A frickin' chainsaw just for CT's knot.
I want 0 slack on this thing. So I gotta take this whole entire rope and make one giant ball.
No, that's what we do. Keep going, there you go.
With CT's knot, you don't know where it starts, you don't know where it ends.
How the hell am I gonna fit through these ropes? CT has made it very difficult for me to unravel this. He did a hell of a job.
One of the smartest moves that I've ever seen. CT, that knot is incredible.
Last but not least, we have a challenge from the Total Madness. And for the second time on this list, the person who came up with the loophole is none other than Johnny Bananas. I'll be honest in saying, this is definitely the funniest and most unique loophole, because it is breaking the rules without breaking the rules. It's crazy. The daily was called Decontamination, and the way it worked was you had to go into a big room with foam and look through the window to memorize a color scheme. Once you memorize a color scheme, you go out and place a disc you have in the order the colors flashed. What Johnny did was act like he was going into the foam, and when everyone was in the foam, he ran out, went back to his puzzle station, and just stared. No one knew what he was doing, and everyone was confused. I honestly thought when I was watching this challenge, his age just caught up with him and he didn't know where he was. But I was wrong. Bananas saw the previous heats go, and he noticed there was a little crack in the corner of the room where you can see from the disc station. Bananas didn't need to go into the foam because he could just see the flashing lights from the starting point, and from that, he easily won his heat.
I immediately think out of the gate I'm gonna do pretty well at this.
What is he doing? Bananas? I don't know.
Does he think he can see through?
Playing a song in his head, I don't know what he's doing.
There are strategies that you can use to your advantage.
Bananas, that's
Look at this. Look at the blinking lights.
Bananas has found a way around playing by the rules without actually breaking them. That's a very bananas move, to say the least.
Well, that is it for my top 5 challenge loopholes. I hope you all enjoyed this, and please let me know if you want to see more lists like these. And if so, I'm always willing to take requests in the comment section below. Be sure to follow me on Instagram @RookieRevolution and Twitter @RookieRevo. And until the next one, take care.